Ethan Kane had always loved the silence of space. The endless darkness dotted with stars felt like freedom to him, far from the crowded cities of Earth. As a pilot for the United Earth Exploration Fleet, he had traveled to countless planets, each one a little more alien than the last. Yet nothing had prepared him for what awaited him on the outer edge of human-colonized space, near a sector that had been marked only by strange energy readings and mysterious sensor blips. Ethan adjusted the controls of his small scout ship, the Aurora, as it glided silently through the void. He was on a routine mission, checking on an uncharted asteroid cluster that had been sending unusual energy signals. The hum of the ship was comforting, a constant companion in the otherwise empty universe. His fingers moved over the controls with practiced ease, running diagnostics, checking readings, and noting anomalies. Then, without warning, the dashboard flared with a bright, almost blinding light. The ship shuddered violently, and Ethan's stomach sank as the stars outside stretched into long streaks. "Not again," he muttered, gripping the controls. He had encountered minor gravitational anomalies before, but this felt different. The pull was stronger, almost intelligent, dragging the Aurora toward a bright vortex that had appeared out of nowhere. His attempts to maneuver away failed. The ship's engines screamed against the invisible force, but it was no use. With a final, violent lurch, the Aurora was pulled through the swirling energy, and everything went dark. When Ethan came to, the ship was spinning slowly, the lights flickering. He quickly assessed the damage. The navigation systems were offline, the engines damaged, and most sensors were scrambled. Yet oddly, the ship was intact enough for him to survive the crash. Outside the viewport, he saw a forest glowing with faint, bioluminescent light. The trees were unlike anything he had ever seen, tall and thin, with leaves that shimmered like liquid glass. Strange vines twisted around massive trunks, and a faint mist hovered near the ground. It was beautiful and terrifying at the same time. Ethan's heart raced. He had survived the wormhole, or whatever it was, and now he was somewhere entirely unknown. He activated the emergency systems, preparing to make a landing. The Aurora skidded across the uneven surface and finally came to a stop. Ethan exhaled slowly, his mind racing. He knew he would need help, but there was no one for light years around. He grabbed his survival pack, double-checked the environmental suit, and stepped out. The air was breathable, but it carried a faint, metallic tang. Strange shapes moved in the corner of his vision, and when he turned, he caught glimpses of small, glowing creatures that darted between the trees. They seemed harmless, but their quick movements made him cautious. He began walking toward what he thought might be a clearing, hoping to find signs of civilization, or at least some clue about where he had landed. After several hours, he saw a faint glow in the distance, unlike the natural light of the forest. It pulsed gently, as if calling him forward. As he approached, he realized it was not a fire or any natural phenomenon, but a structure, a massive, domed building with smooth, reflective surfaces. The architecture was unlike anything he had seen, curving and flowing in ways that defied traditional geometry. He felt both awe and fear. He was alone, far from Earth, and yet somehow this place was not hostile. It was inviting. Before he could consider his next step, a presence made him freeze. It was as if the air itself had shifted, and Ethan felt a gentle pressure in his mind. Then a voice spoke, clear, soft, yet commanding, as if it came from everywhere at once. "You are here. You are expected." A being stepped from the glow, taller than any human, with smooth, iridescent skin that reflected the forest light. Its eyes were large, almond-shaped, and radiated intelligence and curiosity. Ethan instinctively lowered his weapon, unsure if he was facing friend or foe. "I am Queen Elira," the being said, bowing slightly. "You have been brought here for a reason, Ethan Kane. You are chosen. I don't even know your people. How could this be possible? You need only to trust." There was no aggression, no threat, only purpose. "Why me?" he asked, his voice barely a whisper. "Why not someone from your own species? Your kind's resilience, creativity, and adaptability are unmatched. You are human, Ethan Kane, and that is why you are vital." "What happens now?" But the Queen's words and the weight behind them left him with little choice. "All right," he said finally, his voice steadying. "I'll go." The walls seemed alive, pulsing gently with light, responding to their presence. The corridors curved in impossible ways, yet he never felt lost. Small hovering devices glided silently, observing him with curiosity. He realized that the Queen's people must possess intelligence far beyond human understanding. Inside the main chamber, Ethan saw more of the Vireland Council, figures tall and elegant, each one radiating authority. They watched him with a mixture of caution and expectation. Aelira spoke, explaining that their species had survived countless threats over millennia, but now faced a challenge they could not overcome alone. Human ingenuity and adaptability had always been legendary, and they hoped he could offer the same qualities in aiding their survival. Ethan listened carefully, absorbing every word. He was overwhelmed, yet also strangely inspired. Here he was, an ordinary human among beings of incredible intellect and grace, being asked to take part in something extraordinary. It was a responsibility he could not ignore. Days passed as Ethan adjusted to life among the Virelands. He learned to communicate telepathically, a skill that felt unnatural at first, but soon became a valuable tool. He observed their daily routines, their rituals, their methods of problem-solving. Each day he saw more evidence of why the Queen had chosen him. Humans thrived in uncertainty, adapted quickly, and could think outside the rigid structures that governed even the most advanced civilizations. One evening, while walking through a balcony overlooking the glowing city, Aelira joined him. The air was calm, filled with the gentle hum of distant machinery. "Do you understand now, Ethan?" she asked softly. "Your presence is not just for my people, it is also a test for humanity, for what your kind can achieve when faced with the unknown. I want to do what I can." He was part of something far greater, a bridge between worlds, a link in a chain that could save a species and forge a new future. And though he did not yet know what trials awaited, he was ready to face them. For the first time in his life, Ethan Kane truly believed that humanity could rise to the stars, not just as explorers, but as shapers of destiny. And in the glowing light of the alien city, under the watchful eyes of the Queen, he realized that the impossible was only the beginning. Ethan Kane had spent a week in the glowing city of the Virelands, learning to navigate their strange yet elegant world. Every day was a lesson, every moment a new discovery. The city pulsed with life in ways humans could scarcely imagine. Lights moving along invisible pathways, sounds that seemed to carry meaning without words, and beings whose thoughts and emotions could be felt as clearly as spoken language. Queen Aelira had been patient with him, guiding him through the customs and routines of her people. She had introduced him to the Council of Elders, each one observing him carefully, assessing whether humanity could indeed play a role in saving their species. Ethan felt their scrutiny, yet he did not resent it. He understood that trust had to be earned, and he was determined to do so. One morning, he joined Aelira for a tour of the Central Knowledge Chamber, a vast dome filled with floating data streams and shimmering projections. He walked among the images of planets, species, and histories, awed by the sheer scope of knowledge accumulated by the Virelands. "Everything you see here has been recorded over thousands of cycles," Aelira explained. "Our people value memory and understanding. Every choice we make is informed by the past." Aelira observed silently, her large eyes reflecting the soft glow. "You are learning faster than expected," she said. "Humans adapt well to new challenges. That is why you were chosen. Your willingness is as important as your knowledge. Survival is not only about intelligence, it is about courage, adaptability, and compassion. You possess all three." He watched as they communicated telepathically, sharing ideas instantaneously, yet he was still learning to receive thoughts without intrusion. Each interaction strengthened his bond with the Queen and some of her council members, though others remained wary. One evening, Ethan accompanied Aelira to the outer gardens, a serene area where the glowing plants and soft mist created a peaceful atmosphere. He marveled at the intricate patterns of the flora and the gentle hum of energy that seemed to flow from every living thing. "Why did you choose me?" he asked quietly, breaking the comfortable silence. "There must be many humans out there." "Why me?" "Only you possess the qualities necessary to create the heir, who can inherit both our strengths. You will help us survive, and in doing so, you will help define the future for both our peoples." The Virelands observed him constantly, noting his human ingenuity, how he improvised when their systems failed, how he saw patterns and solutions they had overlooked. Despite the wonder of the city, there was tension beneath the surface. Not all Virelands accepted Ethan's role. Some council members whispered doubts, questioning why an outsider should have such influence over their future. Ethan sensed the subtle hostility, but he refused to respond with fear or anger. He focused on what he could do, proving his worth through action rather than argument. One afternoon, while walking through the lower terraces, Ethan encountered a group of young Violians practicing telepathic exercises. He watched as they transmitted images and emotions effortlessly, laughing and learning from each other. One of them, a small figure with bright, curious eyes, looked at Ethan and tilted their head. "Do you think he is really the one?" the young Violian asked in a soft, telepathic voice. Another responded, "We will see. If he truly understands us, he will survive. If not, he will be lost. Our survival is threatened not only by time and genetics, but by external forces. Others covet our resources and knowledge. Our world has enemies who will not wait for us to strengthen ourselves. You must be prepared for conflict. A species far older and stronger than ours, yet cunning and relentless. They have observed us for cycles, waiting for an opportunity to exploit our weakness. They will come. And when they do, our survival may depend on your human strategies as much as our own abilities." The idea of a battle against a superior alien force was daunting, yet he also felt ready. Humans had survived countless challenges on Earth, and he had faith in their ability to adapt. "Then we must prepare," he said, determination steadying his voice. Elira nodded. "We will train together. You will learn our methods, and we will learn from you. Perhaps together we can overcome what alone we could not." In return, they shared their telepathic abilities, enhancing communication and coordination beyond anything Ethan had imagined possible. During these sessions, Ethan also learned more about Violian society, their respect for knowledge, their deep connection to nature, and their reverence for life. He saw how they worked together, not for personal gain, but for the well-being of the entire species. Their unity and loyalty impressed him, reminding him of humanity's potential when people acted together with purpose. One night, as Ethan rested in the quiet of his quarters, he reflected on everything he had learned. The city's lights glowed softly through the windows, and he felt a sense of calm. He realized that his role was not just to survive or to serve the Queen, but to help his species demonstrate its worth, to show that humans could rise to challenges beyond their own world. Elira's presence had become a source of guidance and strength for him. He admired her wisdom, her courage, and her unwavering commitment to her people. Though they were from different worlds, he felt a connection growing between them, not romantic, but a bond forged through trust, shared purpose, and mutual respect. In the days that followed, Ethan participated in a council meeting where the elders debated strategies for the upcoming threat. He suggested ways to reinforce the city's defenses, combining human engineering with Violian energy manipulation. The elders listened carefully, and for the first time he felt a true sense of acceptance. His ideas were valued not because he was human, but because they worked. As he left the council chamber, Elira approached him. "You have earned their respect," she said softly. "More importantly, you have earned mine. You are learning what it means to be more than a visitor. You are becoming part of our story." He was no longer a lone human adrift in space. He was a bridge between worlds, a symbol of what humanity could achieve when it embraced courage, compassion, and ingenuity. The next day, Ethan accompanied Elira to the outer observation terraces, where the city met the untamed wilderness beyond. He gazed at the glowing forest, the bioluminescent rivers, and the distant mountains that rose like guardians over the land. It was beautiful, fragile, and alive. "Do you see it?" Elira asked, her voice carrying a note of pride. "This is our home, and soon it will be protected not only by our strength, but by yours as well." "I will do everything I can," he said, "for you, for your people, and for humanity." He understood the challenges ahead, the responsibilities that had been placed upon him, and the immense opportunity before him. Humanity's ingenuity, resilience, and courage were no longer distant ideals. They were weapons, tools, and bridges, capable of shaping the destiny of worlds far beyond their own. And as the twin moons of the alien planet rose over the glowing forest, Ethan Kane looked at the horizon and knew that his journey had only just begun. Ethan Kane had settled into life among the Violians, learning their ways and earning their trust. But the calm he had grown accustomed to was not destined to last. One morning, as the twin moons bathed the alien city in silver light, alarms rang throughout the glowing streets. The normally serene hum of energy pulsing through the city turned chaotic. Violians raced along the terraces, their forms moving with a fluid grace, yet their faces were marked with tension and fear. Ethan followed Queen Elira to the central command chamber. Inside, elders and strategists moved quickly, adjusting holographic maps and energy matrices. Outside the large viewing window, he saw strange ships descending from the sky. They were angular, dark, and unlike any technology he had encountered. He felt a chill run down his spine. "The Zerath," Elira said quietly, her eyes narrowing. "They have come sooner than we feared. Their technology is advanced, but they lack the adaptability that humans possess. That is why you are crucial, Ethan Kane. Your mind will guide us through what follows." He understood that their strength lay in unity and telepathy, but he also knew that rigid structures could fail against unpredictable strategies. "We need to act fast," he said, pointing to the projections. "If they aim for the energy cores, the city could be crippled in moments. We should use decoys and redirect their attack paths. Keep them focused on false targets while reinforcing the critical areas." He organized mobile energy shields to shift unpredictably, forcing the Zerath to waste their firepower. The Queen's telepath spread his strategy throughout the defenders, synchronizing human ingenuity with Virelian precision. As the first Zerath ships approached, Ethan felt his pulse quicken. The aliens struck with precision, firing beams that cut through the city's outer defenses. Yet every time they thought they had found a weak point, they were met with countermeasures Ethan had anticipated. Decoys shimmered into existence, energy fields flickered to redirect attacks, and Virelian defenders moved like shadows, invisible until they struck. Ethan watched the battle unfold from the command chamber. The Zerath were relentless, but their attacks lacked creativity. They relied on overwhelming force, but the combination of human strategy and Virelian adaptability slowed their advance. Ethan realized that what humans lacked in raw power, they made up for with ingenuity, improvisation, and an ability to think outside predictable patterns. During a brief lull, Elira approached him. "You are doing more than I imagined," she said, her voice tinged with awe. "Your people's resourcefulness is remarkable. They'll target the center core," he warned, pointing at the holographic map. "If we let them, the city could lose power in minutes. Move all mobile shields to protect it and concentrate the defenders at the outer perimeters. I'll coordinate a counterstrike that will split their forces." Ethan directed smaller squads to strike at the Zerath's flanks, while decoy signals lured the main force into traps. The Zerath ships collided with energy barriers and holographic illusions, causing confusion and disarray. Even their advanced sensors could not differentiate reality from deception. As the battle intensified, Ethan felt a sense of exhilaration he had never experienced in his life. He was human, yes, but here his ideas mattered, his instincts mattered, and his presence made a difference. He moved through the command chamber with calm efficiency, issuing orders, adjusting strategies, and anticipating every move of the enemy. Suddenly, one of the Zerath ships broke through the outer defenses, heading straight for a residential district. Ethan's mind raced. "Divert the secondary shields, send reinforcements to intercept, use the energy nets to slow them down," he shouted. The Virelians moved instantly, combining their telepathic coordination with Ethan's instructions. The energy nets flared to life, ensnaring the ship and slowing its descent. Smaller interceptor squads hit the vessel from multiple directions, forcing it to retreat. Ethan's strategy had worked, and the residential area remained untouched. During the battle, Ethan witnessed acts of bravery from the Virelians. Young defenders risked their lives to protect critical systems, and elders used their telepathy to guide reinforcements where they were needed most. He realized that while humans could bring ingenuity, the Virelians' unity and loyalty were unmatched. Together, they were a force far greater than either species alone. Hours passed like minutes. The sky was filled with flashing lights, energy beams, and the constant hum of telepathic coordination. Ethan's mind never slowed, always calculating, always anticipating. He noticed a pattern in the Zerath attacks and devised a maneuver that would force the enemy into a trap, a concentrated strike at their central command ship, vulnerable due to overextension. With Elira's approval, Ethan led the counterstrike. The Virelians moved in perfect harmony, their energy weapons and shields working as one. The Zerath ship was hit from multiple directions, its defenses failing under the combined assault. In a final, decisive strike, it was disabled and forced to retreat. The remaining Zerath vessels, seeing their command crippled, faltered. Their attacks became scattered and ineffective. The Virelian city had held, and the invaders began to retreat. Ethan exhaled deeply, feeling exhaustion but also pride. He had played a role in defending this alien civilization, proving that humans could be more than observers. They could be leaders, strategists, and problem solvers. After the battle, the city was quiet again. The glow of the energy fields returned to normal, and the streets slowly filled with Virelians checking on their loved ones and assessing damage. Ethan walked with Elira through the central plaza. "You did it," she said softly. "Your ideas saved lives today. You have shown us that humans are capable of more than we imagined. Your people's skill and unity made all the difference. I just added a few ideas to help. That is why our future depends on you." Their resilience mirrored his own people's spirit back on Earth. As they stood together, Elira spoke of the future. "This battle was only the beginning. The Zerath will return, and there may be others who seek to challenge us. But today, we have proven that cooperation between our species can overcome even the most formidable threats. Your presence has changed the course of our history, Ethan Kane. Together, we will prepare for what comes next." Humanity's qualities, resilience, creativity, and courage, had made a difference here on a world far from Earth. Over the following days, Ethan worked tirelessly with the Virelians to repair damage and strengthen defenses. He shared ideas for energy redistribution, optimized their communication networks, and trained units to adapt more quickly to changing circumstances. Each improvement made the city safer and the people stronger. He felt proud, not of himself alone, but of what humans and Virelians could achieve together. The Queen often observed him in silence, a quiet acknowledgement in her eyes. Though the bond between them was still professional, a mutual respect had grown, built on trust, shared purpose, and survival. Ethan understood that their collaboration would be essential for the future. One evening, as the twin moons rose again, Ethan stood on the outer terraces and looked out at the glowing forests. The city had survived, the people were safe, and the lessons of the battle were clear. Strategy, unity, and adaptability were as important as raw power. He felt a surge of hope. Humanity had a place in the galaxy, not just as explorers, but as thinkers, problem solvers, and allies. Elira joined him quietly. "You have done well, Ethan Kane. Today you proved that humans are not just survivors, they are innovators capable of shaping destinies. That is why you were chosen, and why our future rests in part on your shoulders. And humanity will be part of it, not as observers but as partners, as shapers of destiny." And in the quiet glow of the Virelian city, surrounded by beings who had once seemed so alien, he realized something profound. Humanity's strength was not in technology or numbers alone, but in the mind, the heart, and the will to face the impossible. The city of the Virelians had recovered from the Zerath attack, but the sense of relief was tempered by the knowledge that danger would come again. Ethan Kane moved through the glowing streets, observing the repairs and helping coordinate resources. His mind was constantly working, thinking of ways to strengthen defenses and improve communication between human and Virelian strategies. But even as he focused on practical matters, a deeper challenge was approaching, one that required patience, understanding, and a different kind of strength. Queen Elira summoned him to the central chamber, a vast space illuminated by the soft hum of energy flowing through the walls. She stood in the center, her posture calm and commanding. "Ethan," she said, her voice carrying a weight that made him stop in his tracks, "the time has come for you to take a more active role in the future of my people. We must prepare for the continuation of our line. Together, we will ensure that our offspring is strong, adaptable, and capable of leading both our peoples into the future." Now he had a chance to shape something that would last for generations. "I will do everything I can," he said firmly. Elira nodded, a faint smile on her face. "I know you will, and as we prepare, you will also learn more about my people, their culture, their values, and their hopes. This is as much about understanding as it is about science." Ethan observed the Virelian genetic systems, marveling at the complexity and precision. Unlike human biology, which was flexible and robust, the Virelians had fine-tuned genetics that required careful balance. The hybrid child would need to inherit the resilience and adaptability of humanity, combined with the telepathic abilities and intelligence of the Virelians. Ethan's role was both practical and advisory. He suggested ways to enhance genetic stability and shared knowledge of human adaptability under stress. The Virelians listened attentively, applying his insights to their systems. It was a collaboration that grew deeper with each day, blending the strengths of two very different species. As they worked together, Ethan began to understand the depth of Vireland society. They valued knowledge above all, but also cherished community and loyalty. Unlike humans, whose societies often struggled with division, the Virelians worked in harmony, guided by empathy and shared purpose. Ethan admired their commitment, yet he also realized that human creativity and innovation could complement their structured ways. One afternoon, while reviewing energy flows with Elira, Ethan noticed a potential inefficiency in the city's power distribution. If we reroute a portion of the energy through these secondary conduits, he suggested, pointing to the holographic map, we could free up more power for critical areas during emergencies. It is one of the reasons you were chosen. Ethan felt a sense of belonging he had never known before, a feeling that humanity could indeed rise to meet challenges on a galactic scale. Yet, the preparations were not without challenges. Some members of the Virelian Council remained skeptical of Ethan's role. They whispered doubts about relying on a human, questioning whether an outsider could truly understand their ways. Ethan faced these challenges with patience, focusing on results rather than arguments. Every success, every improvement gradually earned their acceptance. One evening, as the twin moons cast soft light over the city, Elira brought Ethan to a serene terrace overlooking the forest. "You see this land?" she asked. "It is fragile yet resilient. It survives because of care, balance, and vigilance. The same is true for my people. The heir you will help create must embody these qualities: strength, resilience, and the ability to adapt. And you are proving that humanity is capable of more than you have ever imagined. Your ingenuity, courage, and empathy are as valuable as any technology or strength. That is why you were chosen, to guide us in ways that no one else could." Ethan observed the Virelians' interactions, learning how they nurtured each other, resolved conflicts, and made decisions that balanced the needs of the many with the wisdom of experience. He contributed ideas from human history, showing how adaptability and problem-solving had helped humanity survive countless challenges. During one session, a young Virelian approached Ethan with curiosity. "How do humans make decisions under uncertainty?" the young one asked telepathically. Ethan smiled. "We rely on observation, creativity, and sometimes instinct. We weigh options, learn from mistakes, and adapt quickly. Even when we don't know the outcome, we keep moving forward. Your people have a flexibility we admire." One day, Elira called him to the observation decks, where the city overlooked the distant horizon. "Ethan," she said, her tone serious, "there is more at stake than we have seen. Other civilizations will notice our progress. They may see the hybrid heir as a threat or as an opportunity. We must ensure our alliances are strong, our defenses ready, and our people united. Your insights into human adaptability and leadership are invaluable. You are helping us not just survive, but thrive." He taught them to anticipate challenges, to adapt in real time, and to embrace creativity alongside discipline. Slowly, the skeptical members of the council began to see the value he brought, their doubts replaced by cautious respect. As the preparations for the heir progressed, Ethan felt a profound sense of purpose. He was no longer just a human lost in space. He was a contributor to the survival and future of an entire species. His ideas, his actions, and his presence mattered in ways he had never imagined. One evening, as he watched the city glow under the twin moons, Elira joined him in silence. The soft hum of energy filled the terrace, a reminder of the life and vitality of her people. "You have done more than I could have hoped," she said quietly. "Your presence here is proof that humanity is capable of greatness. Together, we are creating a future that neither species could achieve alone. That's what makes the difference." He thought of the challenges they had overcome, the battles fought, and the knowledge shared. Humanity had proven itself capable of more than survival. It had proven its ability to inspire, to adapt, and to create solutions in the face of the impossible. He knew that the coming days would bring new challenges, but he also knew that he and the Queen had built something strong. Together, they had laid the foundation for a future where both species could thrive. The heir would not only carry their genes, but their shared vision for a better world. As the night deepened and the city's lights shimmered like 1,000 stars, Ethan Kane felt a renewed sense of purpose. He had been chosen for this moment, and he would rise to meet it. Humanity's courage, ingenuity, and empathy were no longer abstract ideals. They were active forces shaping the destiny of worlds far beyond Earth. And in the quiet glow of the alien city, alongside Queen Elira, Ethan understood something profound. The future was not just about survival. It was about unity, growth, and the limitless potential that humanity could bring to the stars. The city of the Viorlians was alive with anticipation. Every street, terrace, and tower hummed softly with energy, the glow of the bioluminescent buildings reflecting the significance of the moment. Ethan Kane walked alongside Queen Aelira through the central gardens, feeling the weight of responsibility more than ever. The time had come. The hybrid heir, the culmination of human adaptability and Viorlian intelligence, was ready to enter the world. Ethan's heart beat faster, not with fear, but with a mix of pride, hope, and reverence. He had spent months preparing for this moment, learning, adapting, guiding, and earning the trust of a civilization far beyond his own. And now, the culmination of their work was about to be realized. Inside the royal chamber, the process had begun. Ethan watched as the Viorlian healers and genetic specialists coordinated with precision, their movements synchronized like a well-rehearsed dance. Holographic displays hovered in the air, showing detailed sequences of energy flow, genetic alignment, and telepathic integration. Aelira stood calmly at the center, radiating authority and serenity. "You are ready," she said to Ethan softly. "Your presence, your guidance, and your insight have brought us to this point. Together, we are about to change the future of my people." Ethan observed as the specialists carefully integrated human genetic markers with the Viorlian template, ensuring that the child would inherit the resilience, adaptability, and problem-solving skills of humanity while retaining the telepathic abilities, intelligence, and empathy of the Viorlians. Every step was precise, every adjustment calculated to perfection. As the process continued, Ethan felt a profound connection to the Queen. Though they did not speak often, their shared purpose created an unspoken understanding. They were partners in something far greater than either had imagined, a bond forged not by proximity, but by responsibility, trust, and the hope of a future that could survive even the harshest challenges. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity, a quiet energy filled the chamber. The monitors glowed softly, and the Viorlian specialists stepped back. The heir had arrived. Ethan stepped closer, gazing at the small, radiant being in the cradle of bioenergy that suspended the child in midair. The hybrid heir was unlike anything he had ever seen, small, delicate, yet already radiating a unique strength. Its skin shimmered faintly, reflecting both human warmth and Viorlian luminescence. Its eyes, though closed, hinted at intelligence far beyond its age, as if the mind of the future was already stirring within. Aelira looked at Ethan, her eyes filled with pride and relief. "It is perfect," she said softly. "Strong, adaptable, and capable of carrying the legacy of both our peoples." Viorlians gathered in their glowing plazas, communicating telepathically in waves of joy and relief. The news of the hybrid heir spread quickly, carried through networks of energy and thought. It was a moment of hope, unity, and renewal. Ethan found himself walking through the city, observing the reactions of the people. Young Viorlians danced in small groups, elders shared stories of resilience, and families gathered to honor the continuation of their line. Everywhere he looked, he saw pride and gratitude, and he realized how deeply humans and Viorlians had become intertwined. Aelira joined him on a terrace overlooking the city, her eyes scanning the horizon. "Your presence has changed everything," she said. "Humanity has shown that it can rise to challenges beyond its own world, not just surviving but shaping destinies. You have proven that humans are capable of greatness." And that is exactly what the heir represents. Not just a child, but the unity of two species, the strength of collaboration, and the hope for a future built on shared knowledge, respect, and courage. He taught lessons in adaptability, quick thinking, and problem-solving, while learning from the Viorlians' discipline, empathy, and telepathic coordination. The city thrived, strengthened by the union of their strengths. Ethan also began to reflect on the meaning of his journey. From a routine scouting mission to a crash landing on an alien world, he had faced uncertainty, danger, and the unknown. Yet every challenge had prepared him for this moment, the moment when humans and Viorlians proved that cooperation, ingenuity, and courage could create something greater than either species alone. One afternoon, Ethan accompanied Aelira to the outer observation terraces. The forest stretched endlessly, glowing softly under the twin moons. The city behind them pulsed with life, a testament to resilience and unity. "Do you see it?" Aelira asked, her voice quiet but filled with meaning. This is the future we are building, strong, adaptable, and united, and soon the Heir will grow to carry these qualities, guiding both our peoples. It's more than I ever imagined. Humanity has a chance to be more than explorers or survivors. We can be shapers of the galaxy's future. That is why you were chosen, and that is why the future now rests partly in your hands. Ethan and Elira monitored its development closely, adjusting approaches as necessary, always ensuring that the child's growth balanced the strengths of both species. Ethan also worked to strengthen alliances beyond the city. Other civilizations in the sector were observing, and he used his knowledge of diplomacy, strategy, and human ingenuity to foster respect and cooperation. He showed that humans and Virelians together could be a force for stability and growth, not just survival. Through it all, Ethan felt a sense of fulfillment he had never experienced. He had come to an alien world by accident, faced incredible challenges, and now stood as a symbol of hope, unity, and potential. Humanity had proven itself not just capable, but essential. One evening, as the city's glow reflected in the misty forests, Ethan stood with Elira and watched the Heir play among the bioluminescent plants. The child moved with a grace and intelligence that reflected both parents, a living symbol of collaboration and hope. "This is only the beginning," Elira said, her voice full of quiet determination. "The Heir will grow, learn, and guide us through challenges we cannot yet imagine. And humanity will continue to have a place in our world, not as visitors, but as partners, allies, and friends." But he knew that humanity had proven its worth, not through raw power alone, but through courage, ingenuity, empathy, and determination. The stars above twinkled softly, reflecting in the child's bright eyes. Ethan realized that the future was no longer a distant dream. It was alive, growing, and intertwined with the legacy of both humans and Virelians. Together, they had created something extraordinary, a symbol of hope and unity for generations to come. And in that moment, Ethan Kane understood the true meaning of his journey. He had not only survived the unknown, but had helped shape a future that was brighter, stronger, and more united than anything he could have imagined. Humanity had earned its place among the stars, proving that even in the vastness of the universe, courage, intelligence, and cooperation could create miracles. With the hybrid Heir safely in the Queen's care and the city thriving, Ethan finally allowed himself a moment of quiet reflection. He had been chosen for this moment not by accident, but because humanity possessed the qualities needed to face the unknown and shape destiny. And as he looked out over the glowing city and the endless forest beyond, he knew that this was only the beginning. The journey ahead would be filled with new challenges, discoveries, and adventures. But for the first time, Ethan Kane felt completely certain of one thing: humanity had proven itself worthy. It could rise to any challenge, adapt to any world, and work alongside the most extraordinary beings in the universe. And together, humans and Virelians would face the stars, not as separate species, but as partners, allies, and builders of a future that no one could ever have imagined.